Welcome to Vida, model of approved.
If I open up my eyes, I can see the skies. I can see the skies.
All right, good morning. Simon here at EV Vida. Today we're going to go a quick unboxing and installation of the Kia EV6 GT Lip installation from Best EV Mod. Excuse the background noise. We're currently in production on some couple of other items. So without further ado, let's open up the box. So we have this for both the GT and the Wind trims. They are different styles. When you get the box, it comes in 3 pieces. A couple of our members already installed theirs. We actually test fit this on Brian's already, but we wanted to make sure he gets a new one before we put the new one on. So it comes with 3 pieces. It comes with directions. There are 7 steps. We'll talk about this. Comes with screws and washers. Washers, really important. We'll talk about why that is the case. Comes with this roll of tape. Honestly, this is a waste. We're not going to use it. Comes with more washers. Always good to have extras. And again, there are 2 sets of screws. One is for the vehicle and the other is for consolidating the 3 pieces of the lip. We'll talk about that. And then more screws for the vehicle and then a series of adhesion promoters. So we're gonna do it correctly. One of the things that I would recommend is, while I step away, I'll be right back on the screen, is maybe consider getting what you call these very thin 3M tape. And now these are not for the intended purposes of long-term adhesion. This is really to mount for temporary placement while you screw in the lip. These are really strong and effective at the moment you use them, but they lose like any other tape, except for 3M, which we're not using because nonetheless, if at any moment you scrape, it's gonna pull it off. But this is good for placement. So, for scenarios like this. All right, so here's the lip. So that's 1 piece. Again, this is the driver's side, 1 piece. And then the other end, of course, is the passenger side. Like with always, before you do any installation, just double check to make sure there's no scratch. Off the factory is fine, but you never know with shipping. Shipping is unpredictable, and it's not your fault. It's not our fault, but if there are issues, let us know ASAP. We'll exchange it. We don't want to install any blemishes on your vehicle. So here are the 2 sides. Again, making sure there aren't any issues. So keep in mind too is that all these areas with the holes that you can see, these are your mounting points. So these are where the screws go under. More importantly, no one sees this part because this is your mounting point. Only the exterior part is visible. And on that note, just, you know, if you do like, if you see a little blemish on the inside here, no one's gonna see it. Nonetheless, if you're not happy with it, let us know or we'll make it right. But no one's gonna see it. All right, so here's the middle piece. So we have someone who installed this. The middle piece is a little wonky, if I can use that terminology. You have to define that. So it doesn't sit down flush because the curvature of the EV6 in the middle isn't like your typical flat. It has a lot of details and features. So keep that in mind. So how do we apply this? So the middle piece, let me see if I can get this corrected. It snaps in. Now on the bottom side of these pieces here, there are little holes. There are 3 in fact. When you align this piece to these holes, it should align, and you use the smaller screws, which I put.
So we taped this video this morning, and a couple of things that we wanted to change really quickly. First, the smaller screws won't work. So you have to use the longer screws to connect the pieces. Second, because the longer screws are really long, do not over tighten the screw to the lip. Otherwise, the end of the screw may go all the way through to the top surface of the lip. To combat that, you could install a washer with the screw when you are consolidating the lips. But be very careful not to go all the way through. And once you feel that the lips is secure, you can simply stop screwing it in. The self-tapping screw will do its job in terms of holding the pieces together. So that is the public service announcement as it relates to not overextending the longer screw. Sorry for that information, but you heard it here first. So don't say I didn't tell you so.
So this is now installed. All good, okay? So I have my, so the next thing we're gonna do is, as I told you earlier, probably taking a little longer than I thought, but it's okay. Things happen. We're gonna use my 3M tape. Find them anywhere on Amazon. We're just gonna tape the edge. This helps us mount the lip. I'm gonna do it in sections. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my scissor. What this is gonna help me do is that it's gonna hold it up while I do the actual mounting for the self-tapping screws. You don't need it a lot, but you do need enough to hold. So I just get certain points. Primarily, I tape it on the back side. Really kind of helps hold it up. So especially the edges as well. And you'll see why in a bit. But if you get all these points, and the good thing about what I'm doing right now is that you're not going to see it again, and it really kind of helps a lot with the installation when we get to that point, which is imminent. But as always, what we try to do is prep, which helps us with the installation part. So again, I have most of the areas really with these really thin tape, and it's much thinner than the 3M. Okay, so I have this prep. So the next step I'm going to do when you see me next time on the video is I'm going to have a series of cardboard boxes laid underneath while I'm working on it, just in case it falls down. So go ahead, we're going to stop this video now. All right, so now we're back to the front of the vehicle, and we're gonna actually do the installation. The bottom nice and clean. So we're gonna take off all these 3M adhesive really quickly, one by one. So what we're doing this right here is that we are also doing it on a sort of a slope. Allows us a little bit more clearance. Do you really need the clearance? It's always good to have clearance. Get you a little bit more space. But if you don't it's fine. We did it inside the garage last time, and that it was certainly not as much clearance. But if you're looking at it and you're like, wow, man, how did you like lift up the vehicle? We did not. So keep that in mind when you're pursuing your installation. And again, we're just removing the adhesive strip off the top of the 3M tape that I am using, which is considerably thinner. And we're only using this as a positional tool. I highly encourage it. Do you absolutely need it? No. I mean, if you have another person that's holding it for you or some other sort of tape that can hold it up, that'll work as well. So it is not absolutely needed, but you just keep in mind though, this is also good because you need to position the lip before you install them. We also lay some cardboard boxes if you have some at home. Really kind of helps. So what we're going to do is we're going to align the edges as close as we can. What you'll notice is that when you're aligning, you'll see where the curvature of the lip is. And then once you find that spot, you just really start, go ahead and lifting up the lip to match up to those curvatures. So again, we're doing a lot of alignment. We're not going to commit to anything until both sides looks like it's where it needs to be. So right now I can tell you, oh, it looks pretty good on that one. It's a little bit more on this. We got to probably adjust the middle part. Once we get this up here, these screws come in here, should be nice and clean. So one thing you'll know is that there's this little bit of a gap here on both sides. The reason why that is the case is, as designed, a lot of time they want to give a little bit of some cushion, obviously some ability to move it left and right, but it's not going to go all the way to the edge. More importantly, what you need to really focus on is making sure these points here, when you're mounting it, is nice and flush, and that is grabbing. And that's key. If it's not grabbing and you see any sort of daylight or light coming through, it means that your mounting point isn't where it needs to be. But if it looks like we got all this, making sure all right, so I'm looking back, just making sure it looks good. It looks like it's nice and clean. Just run it over a couple times, triple check. There will be some sunlight because at the moment I haven't put in the self-tapping screws yet. But once you have it onto these mounting points here, it'll hug right onto the bottom of the lip. So I'm trying to make sure these, when it does screw in, it hugs exactly where it needs to be. So this part right here, when I screw in, has to go like this. Melt it perfectly. Okay. Let's see what it looks like. It comes to here. Yeah. All right. So I'm looking good. Brian's behind me looking at his phone. I thought he was checking. How's the alignment looking? All right, it's always good to have, don't worry about if it's not all the way in yet, because the screws will actually tighten that part. Really looking for anything that stands out to you.
No, it looks good. And then a good way to tell is by the center point here.
Oh, that's a good, I like that. Yeah,
Tell that it's perfectly centered.
I appreciate that. That's, I don't own an EV6, so I don't know. But yeah, that's the center point on your centerpiece. You have that line. You can eyeball it. Usually have a buddy while you're holding it up if they can see it. Because even if this part it doesn't look like it's in, there's a screw here that really kind of takes it on there. And that's what's going to hold this piece here, just like that. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and so again, I'm gonna go, every single one of these have to have the washer. If you don't have a washer in there, not a good idea. So for me, I like to kind of work on the center. If I know I'm centered, that point, I'm not worried about others shifting. Get up underneath here, get your tool. And there's two pieces that we're gonna have to make sure we get the center good. There's two screws underneath here in the center. We're gonna get our tool ready. And remember, all the lip has you don't want to over tighten, but you can see, Brian will tell you, but I'll tell you right now, and I'll bring the camera closer. This is as close as you want. And when you're using self-tapping screw, you're gonna have to screw it in, come back out a little bit, and go back in again. Don't just go all the way through it the first time. Slow and steady is the best way to go. We'll show you the end result, obviously, but we'll show you also when we're doing the screwing on the other end. We're starting off in the middle. I like to start off in the middle. That way we know the lip does not shift on us. I'm gonna go ahead and add the second. Remember, there's two of these in the middle. So we got the first one in, and then the other one. Right, so my middle is now secured. I'm gonna work toward the camera side. That way you can kind of see as I go along. Some pieces, I would recommend that when you're eyeballing, make sure you get it pushed up really nice and tight. That way you are grabbing that angle. The angles are, at times, could be very peculiar, especially with this area because of the transition points and the curvature. Kind of what makes this different and unique. So make sure you get that. And there's another point here. Grab this back. I'm gonna catch it now that we got the screw hole and they're nice and clean. The other thing that, what you'll notice what the washer does is that it allows, it kind of grabs that area and pushes it up as well. And it's gonna grab a greater surface area. So when it comes to fitment and also ultimate appearance, that's gonna help considerably. All right, good here. Working our way around. All right, so we have about maybe like 10 more of these to go. But mostly all the areas are catching all the curves, so we don't really have to hold it anymore. The good part is once you get all the curves, really everything is just kind of working. So, and then remember, because we have that tape holding it up as well, we don't have to worry about it falling under or holding it. Really kind of helps us with the installation process because the tape is really kind of positioned our installation. So if you don't have it, now could you have used the 3M tape provided? You could have. The only thing I would say is that the 3M tape's thicker, so you know you are putting a. It's almost like I want to say at least quadruple the amount of tape in between. And personally, I prefer not to have that much tape because I'm not using the tape for that reason. Other than to hold it up for positioning. Let's keep this going. Right. A couple more to go on this side. In fact, I have one more to go, which is the edge piece. Make sure we get the edge piece nice and good. Make sure it's holding up. All right, so we're done on this side. So this side looks, the fitment was on point. I'm gonna go ahead and step the camera back and grab the other side. Again, working our way from the middle. Continue using our washers. And as I pointed out, use a slower speed. You really don't have to go fast whatsoever on this. In fact, the reason for me for the slower speed is it really kind of allows me to eyeball all the points. And then we are on the bottom here. A couple more to go. See. Two. Yeah. Got 3 more left. Couple more to go. 2, since that was 3 more left, and now 2. And then my last final one. Just enough. In fact, that's not true. We have plenty of extras. So let's see, let's take a look. Everything looks pretty nice and clean. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a look. I'm gonna go underneath and just double check. We got every single one of these holes. Looks clean. I'm gonna tighten our lip a little bit down here. Some points that, although it's pretty tight already, I think that's good. I think it's clean. Oh yeah. All right. So I think that looks like it's good to go. It's stuck on well, not gonna come off. Well, let's not tempt nature. It's not going to come off on a daily use. I can't imagine Brian's taking this vehicle on a incredibly steep slope. But if he does, we're pretty confident the first few times of scraping. But afterward, I think that's a conclusion. Now the wind lip install similarly, the connection points are about the same. The only thing I would say different is that, and it's just a matter of look, the wind is, the curve comes all the way out. The GT naturally has these features here, so it's gonna wrap around the same way.